I'm Alexis Ohanian. I co-founded Reddit, and I'm now a managing partner at an early-stage venture capital firm called Initialized. This firm has backed billion-dollar startups like Instacart, Coinbase, Opendoor, and Flexport, whose aggregate market value is north of $36 billion. But before all that, I was just a guy living in Virginia with an idea, and it wasn't Reddit. My first startup was called My Mobile Menu, or I was very proud of that name. My Mobile Menu was going to let people order food from their phone without having to wait in line. This was like 2004 or 2005, so there were no smartphones, and there definitely wasn't a Grubhub or Postmate. So my co-founder Steve and I were trying to get investors interested in the idea, and eventually we pitched the startup bootcamp in Boston called Y Combinator. This was an organization that helps promising startups get off the ground. They were going to give us $12,000 in exchange for some equity, and that would give us about 3 months worth of time to write code and talk to users. We thought this was perfect. We were just about to graduate. We could not think of better investors than Y Combinator. We got the chance to pitch them in person in Boston. So we got on the train, met with them, gave the best pitch of our lives, went out that night to celebrate, and I got the phone call rejecting us. The good news was we were already drinking, so we could now start misery drinking instead of celebratory drinking. And the next morning, hungover on a very long train ride back to Virginia, Paul called me back. And he said, "You know what? We still don't like your idea." But then he also said that he liked the two of us, and that if we changed our idea, they would invest. I played it cool, told him I needed some time to think about it, hung up the phone, and then immediately got off the next train stop and got a ticket to go back to Boston in order to take his check and get started on what would become Reddit. And we were pretty lucky. With Y Combinator's guidance, we were able to get it off the ground, and today, Reddit has raised over $500 million with a valuation of more than $3 billion. The point is, early guidance and support was crucial to our success. And that's why I'm here. I know firsthand how hard the very earliest stages of building a company are, and how essential it is to have support through the process. This is something we do all the time at Initialized, and it's something that I actually am really excited to start scaling with the broader world. Because entrepreneurship requires more than just a big idea. It takes strategy, and research, and creativity, and networking, and business savvy, and a million other things, and a healthy dose of luck. So what you're listening to, How to Launch Your Startup, is a first-of-its-kind audio course by my friends at Knowable, and it brings together some of the world's best tech founders, investors, marketers, legal experts, and more to share their stories and teach the steps to build a successful startup. This is a deeply researched, pragmatic instruction grounded in real-life experiences of proven founders and investors, like Michael Praceman, founder of Everlane, the pioneering direct-to-consumer fashion startup doing $100 million in revenue, and Eddie Liu, founder of GOAT, an Initialized company, a peer-to-peer sneaker marketplace that's raised nearly $200 million. You'll also hear from Greg Bettinelli. He's a partner at Upfront Ventures and one of the lead investors in Ring, which was recently acquired by Amazon for over $1 billion. No sugarcoating, no fluff, no ads, no agenda. Just the best information on startups and entrepreneurship presented in a way that's clear and actionable, so you can hit the ground running and start making progress on day one. Knowable teaches you the specific steps, strategies, and fundamental ideas that are hard to find anywhere else. You'll learn from the real-life experiences of founders and investors who have been in the trenches, struggled, failed, doubted themselves, and come out the other side to find success, even selling their companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. You'll also learn hard lessons, like this one from Tracy Lawrence, who's raised $40 million for Choose, her office catering business.
I did have an investor tell me that he spoke to my customers and he said, "Your customers told us that your service has been one of the best services and best things that's happened to them at work. However, we're not going to invest." And I said, "Oh my God, why not?" And he said, "We don't really think that your team is out for blood." And that was a really, really devastating blow to me. And then I kind of came to the next day and I said, "You know what? He's totally right. I'm not out for blood. And I want to run my company in a very different way.
We're going to be learning about the complicated stuff that is so important from people like Michael Praceman, CEO of Everlane.
Turns out building a store is really complicated and very expensive, and there's a lot of nuances, and it's not just something a smart person can figure out. Experience matters.
And the big, sometimes messy leaps, the ones that propel companies from 1x to 10x to 100x. From Goat's founder Eddie Liu.
It was just such a traumatic experience where we were just hated. If you looked at our Instagram at that time, there were so many F-bombs directed towards me, to the company, to the staff, and we were just in a state of shock. One of our investors saw this, and he called and was just like, hey, is everything okay? And I was just like, not really. We're getting bombarded. And at that time, he said, well, at this point, it's better to be hated than unknown. And looking back, I would have done it 1,000 times over because that was the true inflection point.
This course includes hours of expert-led audio instruction, which is accessible online or off, bonus edited interviews with founders and experts like me, and dozens of resources, links, references, and recommendations to help you launch your startup successfully. This is exactly what I wish I had when I was starting on my own entrepreneurial journey 15 years ago. Which is why I'm not just participating in this course, I'm also an investor in Knowable. I'm thankful for the help I got along the way on my own startup journey. We've built a VC firm that we wish we had had when we were founders. And now I'm grateful that, along with a ton of other experts and founders in this course, we can share some of the most important lessons that we've learned to help you maximize your chances of success as an entrepreneur. Launching a business is not easy,